You are listening to the Leadership of the Leaf SideBar episode. Join Austin and Dice as they put some smoke in the air.
Welcome back to Leadership of the Leaf. My name is Austin.
And this is Dice.
And this is a sidebar edition of Leadership of the Leaf, where we get to talk about whatever we want. It's opinions, because that's what sidebars are, right?
I love sidebars.
Opinions. So, Dice, I got to know, what are you smoking?
I am smoking the Osgener Bosphorus. Now, Osgener left the cigar industry and he came back, and there's been a lot of hoopla about him coming back. So I wanted to see what it was all about. So I decided to pick up one of these, Bosphorus, and right now I'm liking it.
Nice. All right. And you're pairing that with Hennessy?
Hennessy VSOP, baby.
All right, nice. Going with the classic.
Yes, sir.
All right, I am smoking an Undercrown Maduro.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an oldie, a goodie. It's just a stable cigar that I know that I like. Wanted to pull it out of the humidor and get one under my belt, so why not?
Okay.
But my question to you, Dice, is salary a trap for employment?
I'm going to answer that question, and then I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay. My opinion is salary is a trap. I agree that, I don't agree. In my opinion, salary is a trap. And before we get deep into this conversation, I need to know what you're drinking, sir.
Oh, good question. I am drinking an Irish whiskey. It is called Tullamore, and it's a nice light whiskey. I'm hoping that it'll contrast and pair well with this Maduro.
Oh. Well, I think it's going to be a good little matchup there.
I'm hoping so. So far, so good. We'll see how it goes. But, all right, so you think salary is a trap for employment. Why?
I think salary is a trap for employment because once you are listed as a salary employee, your employer is going to look at you as they have you for however long they need to get the job done. You're always going to be on the clock working because you're a salary. There's no clock for you to clock in. There's no clock for you to clock out. It doesn't matter about your time because I'm already paying you.
Right. But I think it also kind of comes down to managers, doesn't it? Because if your manager has a good understanding and values the work-life balance, then you're going to be able to, kind of sit there and get paid salary for only, 8 hours of work, 9 hours of work, whatever it is, 9 hours with a lunch or whatever.
Well, the thing is like, let's compare it to an hourly employee. Like an hourly employee is going to come in, clock in, build his widgets or whatever, and then clock out at the end of the day. No fuss, no muss. That's his time restraints. That's all he has to do. But for as a salary employee, I don't have a clock in or clock out for that person. So if I need task A done, I get my salary guy to do it. I need task B done. Hey, salary guy, he's there. He's already paid for. He's already paid for that whole year or however long he's going to be on the payroll. So I can get a hold of him or need him or her, because we're woke now, right? Him or her to get the the task accomplished no matter what time of day it really is.
Right, but you get the opposite, right? Like if I'm salary and I need to go take a dental appointment or something, then I could go take that during work hours and I'm not going to lose any money on that.
It's true, you're not going to lose any money on that. But in the same retrospect, if you still need to get your task accomplished before the deadline, it doesn't matter. If your deadline is Friday at noon, whatever you got to do to get to that deadline at noon, of course, if you're good at what you do and you got all your ducks lined up, you may get that task accomplished by noon. But let's say you was working on a project and the computer died and didn't save any of your work. You just lost 4 days worth of work. your deadline is still there. So I guess somebody's burning the midnight oil to try to catch up on everything they just lost from a faulty computer, or your 5-year-old son decide to play asteroids on the computer for 1 second or something.
Asteroids.
What do kids play on the computer now? The Tetris? Is that still a thing? If I show my age.
Fucking asteroid. He's showing your age, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a true, like, stuff like that happened. The dog ate my homework type scenario. Like, okay, fuck you, pay me. That type situation. Like, I still need this by this deadline. Thursday, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. Sorry, wife, I got to work late. I have a deadline.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think it comes, to me, there's pros and cons of everything, right? So I think it also comes down to, you know, what does your boss say? What does your company say? You know, what do they value? You know, I had this conversation with my ex mother-in-law, and the company she was working for, she worked at a call center. The company she was working for wanted to promote her to a salary position, and you know, and she was not sure she wanted to take it because she was worried about that exact thing. Well, they can make me work longer without, you know, paying me extra. And so I asked her, I said, well, are you getting any extra tasks than what you already get now? No. I was like, okay. I said, you know roughly how much you make now based off of for a whole year. I said, if you base that off of that for a whole year, I said, does the salary meet or exceed what you make currently? And she was like, well, you know, it almost matches and exceeds a little bit. And I was like, okay. But she didn't want to take it because she was afraid that they were going to basically make her work extra. And so then we were talking about it, and I was just like, well, I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to be guaranteed those hours, though. Why you wouldn't want to be guaranteed that money?
Well, I look at it this aspect, because let's say, I'm just throwing numbers. Let's say a salary, your $50K salary, or your $40K hourly, right? But if you're $40K hourly and you have a task that needs to get accomplished, and they call you back in to get the task accomplished, now you're getting paid overtime, double, whatever the pay is. Now, as an hourly employee, you can make up to $60K a year because your hourly employee stacking that overtime in, as whereas a salary employee is not going to get that overtime, but still is going to do the same amount of work.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It's
trap.
Yeah. I think people like to have that security, though.
I do agree people like to have that security. I'll place another scenario for you. So I have this job where I have to do 10 shows a year. 10 shows a year. I'm salary. I'm doing those 10 shows a year no matter what. Right. Making whatever amount of money. Now, if I went to pay per show or pay hourly per show, however you want to look at that, now I can pick and choose what shows I go to. Like, this one show is in North Dakota. Like, I don't give a fuck about North Dakota. It's cold as fuck. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to take that show. Sure, I'm not going to get the money because I'm not an hourly employee. I'm not using my hourly status to go to that show or whatever the case may be. But if I'm a salary employee, it's like, fuck you. You're going to North Dakota. Have fun with the penguins and whatever's in North Dakota. Because I don't have a choice. I'm salary. I got to go regardless because I'm now a salary employee, as where the hourly or per show employee is going to be like, you know what? I'm going to skip this show. And I know it's going to affect my pay. I don't really care. I have an option that I don't have to take that show. Whereas a salary person who is trapped doesn't have that option.
Yeah. So I guess to me, it's I don't know. It's less of a trap for employment, but more of a trap for like working longer hours for same amount of pay, no matter what.
Yeah, like I mean, it's just however the contract or whatever is written for that company. I'm not saying all salary employees are going to be trapped and doomed, or however you want to say that, but more times than not, you're on a salary. I can call you if need be. I give you a work phone. You need to answer that work phone, or however it is done. You're on the clock. When I call you, I need you, your salary. Let's get this job done. As opposed to hourly employees, like I have to wait till tomorrow for you to clock in, and then we can get down to business.
Yeah, or hey, I'll pay you overtime, but you got to clock in now and get this done.
Yeah, because a salary employee misses out on that overtime. A salary employee is going to miss out on hourly employees have to take a lunch. They have to by law, whatever state you're in, however, right? But a salary employee, maybe you can grab some lunch on the way. Honestly, I don't really care your salary. I need this done.
Right, but I think there's pros and cons, because if you need to take my daughter or my son to the dentist or to whatever, to the doctor, you don't lose out on that money that you would be getting paid if there wasn't something going on in your life.
Well, the appointment is still going to be there, like doctor. Let's say you have to take your kid to the doctor regardless. If you're hourly, you can clock out. You'll maybe lose a few hours. But the thing is hourly, if you lose those few hours for taking your kid to a doctor or going to a recital or whatever the fuck, right? You can make up those hours if need be. Be like, hey, I'm working another hour today to kind of compensate for the hour that I lost when I took my kid to the dentist. Whereas a salary employee is like, okay, you still got this deadline. Take your son, go play golf, whatever the fuck you want to do. You still got to make this deadline regardless.
Right.
I just think there's more opportunity for an hourly employee than there is for a salary employee. Now, for a salary employee, I think it's going to be great if everything is hunky-dory, all the roses are red and the birds are chirping and life is moving great in your favor. But for an hourly employee, your hours and stuff can get cut. However, salary, you're obligated. Your obligation is always going to be there for a salary employee.
Yeah. So do you think it comes down to employers and what the manager and the company wants?
I think it always comes down to the employers, even if it's hourly. I think it's always going to come down to the employers. But even with that being said, if your employer still needs something done or a certain deadline or something, he's going to reach out to the salary employee over hourly employee because you already paid for it. I have to pay extra for the hourly guy. Let's fuck the salary guy and put him up here.
Right. I mean, it makes sense. I'm not saying that I disagree with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate,
Yeah, I get it. And that's why I like sidebars, because these sidebars is really just opinion based. I mean, I'm not pro or con either or. I mean, I know they both have advantages and disadvantages. I just think there are more advantages for an hourly employee because they are able to, make up their time. They're able to get that overtime. They're able to actually earn more hourly than someone that's working salary, because you're a salary cap. That's it. You do extra, you're going to get paid the same thing. You do less, you're going to get paid the same thing. Oh, you got to work through your kid's recital this Saturday, you're going to get paid the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm salary right now, and I can definitely tell you that there are times where I'm like, man, if I could be paid overtime, I would make so much money. It's not even funny.
I see that now. Like hey, boss, if you don't mind, I'd like to make up a few hours this weekend. I mean, I know you got like a skeleton crew on the weekends. I can come in on Saturday, make up 4 hours that I missed during the week, and I'll be good to go. And then it doesn't affect their paycheck. They still make their 40 hours for that week or their 80 hours for that 2 weeks. As whereas a salary person, yeah, he's still going to get that time. He's still going to get that pay, but there's going to be no fluctuation in the time.
Yeah. That makes sense. I just wonder if, people like that security more than, they like the security of salary more than the, freedom and the potential to make more money for hourly employees.
Well, not majority. I I'm liking to salary employee. I'm liking to hourly employees to more of a skilled trade, to where X amount of widgets have to be made a day, whereas a salary employee is more of a thinking man's game, to where it's more of a project management or those type items.
Right, where nothing's going to be on fire.
Correct. It's just the aspect of saying that you're trapped under a salary puts more of a blanket to you. As let's look at the COVID aspect that just happened, right? So a lot of the salary employees still had a job, where the hourly employees got furloughed or they lost hours throughout the day. But when it comes down to it, if a company's trying to stay afloat, who are they going to let go first? Someone that they control how much time they actually going to be paying their employees, or someone that's on a payroll that no matter what happens, they're going to get paid?
Yeah.
So if you can't come into work and you're on a salary because of all this COVID pandemic, I'm going to let my salary person go, because I can still call my hourly employees and pay them, like I only can work them 3 hours a day and pay them less money in the long run, as where a salary employee, I'm going to go and let go all the way, because I'm not going to pay that salary anymore. I can manage my money or the company's money better by just utilizing hourly employees.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense. I think if you could go hourly, depending on the type of job and the boss that you have, that's the better option, but it's also could be the worst option, because if they start cutting hours and things, then it's, then you start losing out on money. Whereas the salary, if they start cutting hours, I don't care. Cut my hours. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you're going to pay me anyway. Like, look at basketball players. I'm injured. I can't even play. But yet I'm still making multi-millions by riding the bench, wearing street clothes, watching my team play. Like, hey, go team. They're still getting paid the same thing.
Right.
As opposed to the schmuck that's playing on the floor, that's trying to win the game, when your star athlete or whoever, LeBron, is laying on the floor or something.
Durant got injured in warm-ups.
Or some bullshit like that. Like, this motherfucker, he's getting paid more than me and he's sitting on the bench.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. It's definitely just one of those things where I think if you're going to go, if you're trying to choose between hourly and salary, you need to make sure that you take into consideration all of the different components and the aspects of your job, and how likely are you to work overtime? How likely are you to, get these taskers? If it comes down Friday at noon, hey, I have this tasker for you, and it's gonna take you 10 hours, and I need it by Monday morning. Well, guess who's working the weekend?
Everybody's working. And with that aspect, salary is just, I feel it. I understand. You want the salary, like, you want to advance. But how many times have you heard, like, oh, Jimmy's been with the company for, 19 years. He's about to hit his 20-year mark. And then they fire him because he's a salary employee, bring in one of these young guns that just came out of college, to where they can pay this guy half the price and do the same job that old Timmy was doing for 19 years.
Yeah.
Because he's salary. Would they do that to an hourly employee? More than likely not. They'll probably just cut his hours or just don't utilize him as much, but they're not going to let him completely go for a younger guy. The younger guy is going to get hourly. The pay doesn't really fluctuate that much as opposed to a $100K to a $50K person that just came out of college.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you. It's definitely one of those situations, like I said, where you kind of gotta look at your situation and figure out, like, hey, is this what's best for me? If you're a white collar person and you're not asked to do a whole lot, and hey, I did my tasks for the week and nobody calls you on the weekends, great. But then you got those salary employees that are constantly getting called or constantly having to work late or the weekends or at house or whatever. Then yeah, that shit sucks.
Basically, if you become a salary employee or you want to become a salary employee, however you want to look at that, I would definitely pay attention to the work ethic of the company, the employer. I would definitely make sure that there's some kind of contract or something that lays out your obligation or your time frame. You want to make sure you have that work-life balance. You don't want to miss your kids' recitals and stuff like that. It's just mainly how the employer and how your contract and everything is going to be written, as opposed to like someone that's working at McDonald's as an hourly employee. They can kind of like look at the schedule and be like, this isn't going to work for me. And you can manage your hourly and move the table how you need to.
Yeah. No, I wholeheartedly agree. And, I think people trade security for their time. Hey, it's worth more to me to get, paid the same no matter what versus having to work a weekend here or there.
Now, I will agree the salary of having a salary does equal job security. Like, you're going to get that amount of money. If you don't work Monday and Tuesday, you're still going to get the same pay each month until you get, of course, your salary pay, as opposed to an hourly employee. Like, we got to cut some people hours. You may lose some time there. I definitely see both sides of the fence here. So I still just think salary is more of a trap than having hourly pay.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and I think we're of the same mind. It's just definitely one of those things where the company kind of can make or break that difference.
It was a good conversation. I like it. I do want to know, is your cigar just as good as it was before?
Oh, yes. It is delicious. It's the Underground Maduro. These are, in my personal opinion, rock steady cigars. If you pull one out of the box, you know what you're going to get. You know what kind of quality you're going to get, what flavor notes you're going to get. And you're going to be able to have that cigar, and you're going to be happy with it. Now, my question is, your cigar, is it worth the hype?
Definitely notes of earth, floral, wood, and that retro and hell undertone is definitely pepper. Their tagline is, it will invade your senses and excite your palate from start to finish. And sir, I will agree with that. My palate has been excited from start. I haven't quite finished yet. It paired well with my Hennessy. How did yours pair? Yours was an interesting pairing. I was curious.
Pretty good. I'm getting notes of cedar and leather. This whiskey is a little on the peaty side, so it's helping draw out some of that bitterness, some of that other notes that are maybe a little bit more nuanced in this cigar, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
That's good. I'm glad it is pairing significantly well.
So my question is yours box, 5-pack, or single worthy?
Right now, because it's a 4x55, I believe it is. Right now, I would say it's definitely a 5-pack. I would like to maybe get a larger size and get a better feel for it, because this was just really a sidebar cigar for me because of the size. I would like to give it another try. I kind of already know what yours is going to be, but let's hear it.
Box worthy all day.
All day, hands down.
All day,
I agree.
Hands down. I can't. I love Undercrowns. The Maduro is probably one of my favorites. In fact, this is out of a box. I bought a box of these. And I'm not upset that I bought a box of them. It's not like, so I bought a box of Oliva, right? And that was the first box that I had ever bought. And, man, I got tired. I was just worn out by the time I got to the end of the Olivas. I was just like, I'm so done. I don't want to smoke any more Levis for a little bit. I'm over them. Everything. It was just kind of, this, it's nuanced. It's delicious, but it's absolutely one of those ones where I can pick it up and smoke it, and I haven't gotten tired of it yet.
I think I will 100% agree. Whenever I'm looking for the cigar just to smoke for relaxation or however, I will definitely pick up a Underground, Maduro, Shade, whatever it's going to be. Underground is definitely a go-to for myself.
Yep, I agree. Well, I think this has been a great sidebar, sir. I enjoyed the conversation. And until next time, I've been Austin.
And this is Dice.
And we will catch you guys on the next one.
Yes, sir. All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening to Leadership of the Leaf. I'm just letting you know, if you want to see what kind of cigars that myself, Dice,
and Austin,
what we're smoking on each episode, check out our Instagram on Leadership of the Leaf. All one word.
At Leadership of the Leaf. And please, leave us a comment. Send us a message with what other questions or what you guys are smoking on. Maybe you guys have some suggestions for us that we'd love to give it a shot.
At Leadership of the Leaf on Instagram. Thank you for listening to Leadership of the Leaf. The comments and opinions expressed by the host and guests does not reflect the opinions of those that broadcast this show, nor does it reflect any of our affiliates.